And if Angela Corey, the prosecutor, if she does announce that they are arresting George Zimmerman, is it likely in a case like this he would be out on bail, or would they just hold him? I guess it depends on the charges that they serve him with.
That's right. It would certainly depend on the charges. Once he is arrested, if he is arrested, he would have that first appearance before a judge, and the judge would set bond. Of course, the judge is going to consider a couple of factors. I see they're walking wolf
hold on,
right
Sonny,
now.
Hold on. The lawyers for George Zimmerman are at the microphones. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon. Does everyone have their microphone where it'll probably work?
What are their names?
Looks like everyone's all right with that. My name is Hal Uhrig. Craig Sonner is here with me. To this point in time, I guess most of you recognize us as the attorneys for George Zimmerman. For those of you who are waiting here only in the event that he's going to show up, and that's why you're here, slip on out, because that's not happening. We do have what we think is a reasonably important announcement to make. I'm going to let Mr. Sonner start first. I'll do a little cleanup, and then we'll be happy to entertain some of your questions. Okay?
We want to announce today, as of now, we are withdrawing as counsel for Mr. Zimmerman. We've lost contact with him. Up to this point, we've had contact every day. He's gone on his own. I'm not sure what he's doing or who he's talking to, but at this point, we're withdrawing as counsel. If he wants us to come back as counsel, he will contact us. We had contact as of, I believe, Sunday. In the last couple of days, he has not returned phone calls or text messages or emails, leading me to believe that I can't go forward speaking to the public about George Zimmerman in this case as representing him, because I've lost contact with him at this point. I still believe that he was acting in self-defense that night. Nothing that I've said about him or this case has changed in any way. I just can't proceed to represent a client who doesn't stay in contact with me.
Let me provide a little bit more detail and context for that. Last Thursday, before Mr. Sonner and I went to New York to meet on Mr. Zimmerman's behalf with a number of national media organizations, Mr. Sonner was accompanied to the bank by Mr. Zimmerman's father for the purpose of setting up a website by which people might make donations in order to help support him and hopefully pay for a defense. We went to great lengths to make sure that that website was set up in a way that the PayPal account paid directly into an account on which his father had the control and the signature rights, not us. So there'd be no possibility of anyone claiming that we were doing something untoward about that. Mr. Zimmerman was aware that we were doing that. His father signed the cards. We left with the expectation of getting that site up in time to announce it for national media. We did, in fact, make that site's name known to the national media, and it was publicized to some extent, although it was, for technical reasons, didn't get posted up in time. On Sunday, we lost track of George in that he would not return our calls and we couldn't get hold of him. We had no reason at that time to believe there was anything suspect. But on Monday, we began fielding questions about, did we know anything about the I'm the Real George Zimmerman or the GeorgeZimmerman.com website? And our initial response was, well, that's probably bogus. George hasn't talked to us about that. We don't know about it. So we started making inquiries and frankly confirmed that he, through friends or family, had in fact set that site up, and it was legitimate. We immediately began telling the media, disregard the earlier website we gave you that we had set up. Go with the one that we now know that he set up. Cleaner for us. We were happy enough with that, but disturbed that he had not communicated with us. We started reaching out in every way that we knew how to get him. Eventually, the two newest developments are that we learned that he had called Sean Hannity of Fox News directly, not through us, and we believe, I can't confirm this, we believe that he spoke directly with Sean off the record, and he's not even willing to tell us what our client told him. The final straw, if you will, or the final decision-making point was today we spoke with the Special Prosecutor's Office out of Jacksonville. We have been working over the weekend and diligently trying to set up a meeting between Mr. Zimmerman and the Special Prosecutor's Office, because quite frankly, we continue to believe that once that part of the puzzle is completed, given the evidence as we understand it to exist, and given the rest of the facts and the law as we know it exists, that this prosecutor, who's elected not to go with a grand jury, would in fact make a decision. We were hopeful that decision would be to not inform against him and not to seek an indictment. That was our intention all along. We heard today that George had contacted the prosecutor's office directly. One of the things every defense attorney tells his client is, don't talk to the prosecutors, don't talk to the cops. Frankly, don't talk to anybody until we get control of the situation and do it through counsel. We were a bit astonished and had some conversation back and forth with the special prosecutor's office. They are professionals as well. We're impressed with the professionalism of the Duval County State Attorney's Office, Angela Corey's office, Bernie, the others involved in the office up there. And they told us what we expected was, we're not going to talk to a criminal potential defendant or suspect or target of an investigation without counsel. We're just not going to do it. And they told him that. He then called back after some conversation with us and said, that's not a problem. I don't really have any attorneys anymore. Those guys were just my legal advisors. I'm not sure what the distinction is, but in his mind there's a distinction. And at that point in time, with us communicate with our client, with him not taking the advice that we had to just basically don't talk to other people, it's his absolute right to talk to whoever he wants to. And it's his right to choose whatever counsel he wants to choose. And if in the future George were to come back to us and say, look, big misunderstanding, I was under such incredible pressure. You can't imagine what it's like hiding in a room, trying to save your life, treated like a mushroom, for those of you who know the second half of that joke, and not being able to communicate with friends and family openly. I can't go to the grocery store. Perhaps the pressure of that pushed him a little over the edge, and he reached the point where he said, I'm just going to take care of this myself. Whatever his thought process was, he may explain at some later time. Our thought process is that we're professionals. Craig Sonner, PA, Hal Uhrig, the defense group, we do this for a living. We try to do a good job of it, but we are not going to put ourselves out to the public as continuing representatives for a client unless he makes it clear to us that he wants us to be his representatives. So for that reason, it's not so much that we're resigning. We're just announcing to you that we can no longer represent him until such time as he may come forward and ask for that help more formally and in a different context than we've had so far.
Do you think he's gone into hiding because a decision could be imminent about prosecution?
Well, just a moment. I promised the first question. Who's here from Fox 35? Valerie?
How do you know this is a fraud? How do you know that he's maybe not safe?
Okay, number one, we have a pretty good idea of where he is, although we didn't want to know the exact location. Number two, we know his phone number. We know that whenever we call it, that phone number goes to voicemail. We know that's the phone number by which he contacted the special prosecutor's office in Jacksonville, and that's the number by which they contacted him back. We're comfortable that the information that we've gotten, both with regard to Fox News National and with regard to the special prosecutor's office, accurately is information attributed to George. We're not divulging an attorney-client privilege because he didn't say that to us. We're getting it from what we believe to be the most reliable source on the waterfront, and that's the special prosecutor's office. I'm sorry, what was that? I don't believe he's told him anything except that he wants to meet, and because both of us have been prosecutors, I will be shocked if they meet with him without some attorney, whether it's us or somebody else. Craig, you start picking out.
That's right. Specifically in trying to help you guys locate him or to further get more information about whether he's your client or not.
What's your
How
question?
The family. How helpful has the family been, particularly George Zimmerman's father?
Up until Sunday, around Sunday or Monday, very helpful. We had a good working relationship, and it's just been the last couple of days that we lost contact. When I was not able to make contact with him today, and he's not returning phone calls, that's when we going on. It's time. I can't keep going out and meeting with the media and giving interviews saying that I'm talking with George every day, because now as of Sunday, I'm not talking with him every day.
Does his family know what it matters to you in own hands? Are you concerned about what he might do?
Well, yes, I'm concerned about what's going to happen with him, because I do believe that he was acting in self-defense that night, and I hope that if he wants to come back, if he wants me to represent him, of course, well, I don't have contact, and I can't ethically go forward and say that I'm representing George Zimmerman when I haven't talked to him in a couple days, and he's giving interviews apparently. I mean, that's just the rumors I'm getting, and setting up websites that I don't know. There are a lot of things going on that I don't know about, and so I need to resolve this time.
The PayPal link on the realgeorgezimmerman.com website, is that contributions to that not going to the account that the father set up?
I don't know where those are going to. George, from my communications with George, it is going to George Zimmerman.
But not the one you set up with his father?
No, on Thursday I met with his father and we went to a bank and we set up a bank account. And of course I can't do it for George because George wasn't there, but we did it for his father. We're going to have the PayPal be linked to that. That didn't happen.
This right here has been trying.
Do you think he's gone into hiding deeper because the decision about prosecution could be imminent?
No, I don't think that's what's
How
happened.
much money has the PayPal account?
We have no idea.
Do you think he's still in the country?
Let me get someone else. What's your question?
Are you basically using this news conference as a way to reach to him, and will he see this on TV and then contact you guys and establish contacts and representation?
No, I'm doing it out of an ethical obligation to. I can't keep coming and talking with all the media and saying, yeah, I'm representing George Zimmerman when he's giving me the indications that I'm not representing him. He's not communicating back with me. He's going and doing things without consulting me. And, you know, him setting up his own website, that was fine. I wish he would have told me. I mean, in fact, I prefer it that way because that money is for George and not for me, and I don't want my hands on it.
One at a time, right here.
Have you ever actually had a face-to-face conversation with George Zimmerman? Ever? I mean, you said you're reasonably sure where he is. Have you ever met him face-to-face?
No, I've not met him face-to-face. It's all been through phone calls and meetings with family members.
And can you confirm he's in the country? Can you confirm he's in the area? Do you know?
I'm not, because I'm still concerned about his safety, I'm not going to give too much detail. He's in the United States.
I'm going to take this one.
No, I don't know. Is there another question?
I mean, as far as the money, the PayPal.
Let me take this. Our fear, our fear is frankly not so much about the money. We were initially concerned when we heard about a website that we had not known about before, that somebody else had set this up and was taking advantage of this situation. It appears pretty clear now that the website really is George Zimmerman's. Therefore, whether it's in his sister's name, father's name, his name, whatever, we believe those funds are going to him. Our concern runs deeper than that. This has been a terribly corrosive process. George Zimmerman, in our opinion, and from information made available to us, is not doing well emotionally, probably suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. We understand from others that he may have lost a lot of weight. Our concern is that for him to do this, when he's got a couple of professionals out there working as hard as we were for his benefit, to handle it this way suggests that he may not be in complete control of what's going on. We're concerned for his emotional and physical safety. By the way, let me repeat what Craig said earlier. We absolutely still stand by everything that we've said in this case from every outlet that we've been on with regards to what we believe the facts and the law are. We hope for the best for George Zimmerman. We hope for the best for the Martin family as well. When this case is eventually over, and just like Casey Anthony, it will eventually be over, it's our hope that the Martin family can begin completing the grieving process for their son and that George can get his life reinstated a little bit.
You have so much faith in him. Why leave him now when he needs you most?
We're not taking the position that we're leaving him. We are open to George Zimmerman, but he's got to reach out to us. The communication can't be one way. For us to legitimately tell you or anybody else we are his legal representatives, he's got to affirm that. If he does that, we'll help him.
Can I ask you to back up just a second?
Sure.
When did he speak to and was it the special prosecutor herself?
I'll let you take that.
Secondly, if I could, did he ever actually contact you guys to begin with? Did he actually ever hire you?
Yeah. He contacted me by phone, and the initial agreement was that that I would handle the case pro bono up until charges were filed. So, you did? I don't know. I don't know how you got my name
His
and my
father
phone
found
number.
a name. When did he speak to Bernie?
Oh, he called the special prosecutor's office, but the prosecutor wouldn't speak to him because he had representation. Today.
Are you concerned by being so public about this right now that you might be hurting your case a little bit as it goes?
Nothing that we're saying here today is going to change the evidence. Nothing we're saying here today is going to change the law. If we're correct, and we believe we are as to what we've said so far, the evidence that you have seen and the evidence that we have reason to believe that exists is in the possession of the prosecutor and law enforcement, taken together and applied to the law. We frankly believe that the correct decision will be to not charge him. And nothing we're saying here today should have any effect on that.
With all due respect,
Let me let Craig do this.
Conversation with his father.